Welcome, Pat, and happy Friday. We're on a little bit earlier today, usually on at 3 o'clock. And
Rick, how you doing? I got my Masters shirt on, my Masters hat on. That I've never been there, but my two buddies that went there got me a hat and a shirt, so I'm wearing it for my Masters day.
So you're there in spirit.
Yeah, I'm here in spirit.
Well, I got a function at 3. Well, it's not a function. I'm going to a memorial service. A poor young man, one of my son's friends, passed away of cancer, and so I'm going there at 3 o'clock. Sad to see. 34 years old. Boy, that's rough, huh?
I tell you, man, that puts we talk about a lot of stuff in terms of the market, interest rates, and real estate and everything like that. But at the end of the day, does it really puts things in perspective and makes it feel very small when you got a guy that's 34 years old die.
I thought I'd roll this back a few months because we've been doing this for a while. I want to pull back to a live stream that we did, and I was talking about spending and inflation. And this is one that we put out 4 months ago because we've kind of been saying, I don't see this big wave of rate cuts coming, and I don't think inflation is going to come down as fast as people are saying it is. So I want to tee this up, and we can talk about it in a second, saying this is why, in my simple little economic mind, why I thought we're seeing what we're seeing. So here it goes right here in 2021. And what happened in 2022? Still had inflation, 6.5%. Now it came down here, and a year later, we're sitting here at 3.2. That's tremendous progress. This bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It went up. So just that simple looking at how much money got injected in the system tells me I don't think we're going to stay at 3.2 much longer. And we might, people saying that rates will be down to 5% in March, better pay some attention to this because this could get in the way. And that the Fed, the Fed chairman Powell, he has said that, and other people in the Federal Reserve have said they got to quit spending like a drunken sailor. So that's where we were back 4 months ago, saying there's 2 Ricks and 2 Pats. yeah, one of us is enough for crying out loud. So there was this mantra that we were going to be at 5.5 and the market was going to be flooded in spring, and we were hearing it from everybody. And if you don't get out there now, you're going to bidding wars. And you and I were kind of sitting back going, I don't know. I don't think so. And we got lucky on even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. And we got lucky. And here we are now at rates sitting here at 7.37 on the average for today. And then, the thing that you and I just chatting about a couple seconds ago is, the central bank didn't do anything and rates went up. So this is controlled by bond traders, and there's just a lot of push and pull going on out there, and a lot of it is concern over our national debt, which is exploding, and that affects rates and bond purchases and treasury auctions and all that stuff. And here we are. There's always someone offering full price. There is. It all depends on the market, depends on the supply, and there are still some minimal bidding wars going on out there, but kind of a wild week, huh, Pat?
Yeah, it was. And I give you kudos. Like you and I have been talking about, we're just 2 guys in Chandler, Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona, Mesa, and just trying to pick up a little bit on the market, trying to give people some halfway decent advice. But, I think we went in for a beer last night, and I think you were patting me on the back, and I was patting you on the back saying, hey, we I said, I'd be lucky. I think a couple months ago, I said, there's not going to be 6 rate cuts. I'd be lucky if there's 3 or less. And now, in the last couple of months, it was 2 or less. And I might be lucky, honestly, you see 1, but as you had mentioned, the central bank didn't do anything. And pull back to my chart here. This is the day that we had on Wednesday. Let me see if I can pull it here. This is the day that we had on Wednesday right here. The bond, it was down 100 basis points. 100 basis points. The MBS treasuries were up significantly. So, Now we're starting to see some stabilization here the last couple of days. We've had a decent day. Today was up 36 basis points. So we're clawing back some of the losses. But like you said, the central bank didn't do anything, but the treasury market, the MBS market did the work for the central bank, basically taking rates up higher. So that's what people don't realize. The average person looks at, when they announce this information, oh, the Fed just cut the rates or increased the rates. The market's already doing it's digging the hole for the market every day. It's digging away. It's digging a deeper, throwing dirt in the hole. So it's been this trajectory of, obviously, the inflation trajectory has been it's still there. And now we had talked. I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. I thought this was going to be a year of just muddling along, and that's kind of what we're seeing. I mean, right now, go back to my chart here. Rates have kind of floated up here. Let me see if I can increase this a little bit in size. But, this is basically for a $450,000 purchase, 5% down, 780 credit. I mean, I'm looking at lenders right now. Rates have floated up into the 7.25 range, for a cost of $1,300. Back about a month ago, we were at, high sixes. So they've gone up, let's just call it about 3/8 to half a point.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, because that we just don't want things to overheat. And inventory is gradually increasing. We're at 17,207. That's only 100, not even 100 homes higher than last week. I think it's like 50.
Yeah.
And so it's, if we get up to 19,000 homes and we sit here with contracts running at about 3,000 a week, then the increase in home prices will stop here in the valley. Not everywhere, all depends on the city.
Yep.
But and this is what I track here, and this is new contracts, and we had a bunch of new contracts last week, and then this week they kind of leveled down. But I was really surprised in the past 2 days when I pulled up new contracts. These are new listings, and how much we've spiked up. We're at 3,300. We haven't been at 3,300 for a long, long time, and over a 7-day moving average. Now, obviously, these new contracts, these were people were locked in and probably didn't get in at a 7.25 rate and had something in the in the works already, but maybe many did. Only you could tell me that. But I think that was kind of a surprise to me to see an increase in the number of contracts or pending listings, because this is last week's data. You can see we went from 5,467 down to 5,097. Now, those numbers are different from what I track, all kinds of different reasons why that happens, but that's where we're at. And then if I look here at my favorite chart, which shows supply and demand, and my handy dandy magnifying glass here, the red line is the Cromford Demand Index. It's going up. Supply index is going down. And earlier in the year, back in January, I said, we need to watch and see if these cross, because they had just met.
Mm-hmm.
And we're right there. And which way it goes will determine where pricing will go. Well, it went kind of the opposite of where everybody thought it was going to go. And demand went up. Supply started to go down as far as an index. That was, once again, a surprise. And if you look here, this is a bit of an eye chart, but it's kind of fun. In the 600,000 range, Pat, we had 745 sales per month versus last month, 629. So we have more sales go up, and sales per year, 7,700 versus 7,600. And that's in the 500 to 600,000 range. Days on market, kind of flat. Inventory, 2 months of supply is 2.2. That's really low in that price range. If we go down to 400 and 450, months supply is only 1.9. And those are the two price brackets there. 450 to 500 is the most active, and it's only got a 2.1 supply. Over a million.
400 to 450. What?
400 to 450 has got us a 1.9. It's a brisk market. 860 under contract versus last month 940. 800 to a million, 3.1 supply. The higher you go, the more, here's 19 months of supply in the 5 million. So when you list your house, Pat, it's going to be on the market for a while. 1.5 to 2 million, 4 months of supply. So it's kind of fun to go through those little price points and see what's going on. But you
Well,
bumped into
it kind of leads into that article that I pulled. I showed you that this article, the home buyer's quandary, to wait or not to wait now. So now that rates have gone from 3 to 7, they've been stabilizing between the mid 6s to 7 range. I think people, like we talked about last week, I think people are kind of like, okay, what do we do? They had time to pause, think about what they need to do. Yeah, they're at 3%, maybe buying it if they have to, finance, but they have equity. So now you have a lot of these people. Now this is a good article talking about a lot of these people are, well, we have to do something. Rates will hopefully eventually go down. So they're kind of just, now this stabilization is giving people time to actually think about what they want to do. Because back last year when rates were going nuts, you didn't have time to think.
Yeah, I used to say if you got to go home and sleep on it, you're not going to get to sleep in it. It's crazy time. Another article here too, Pat says a generational tug of war is hampering the housing market and limiting buyers' options. And it's an interesting article nationally. It says home buyers in today's market are increasingly faced with the inconvenient but inescapable truth. There are fewer homes for sale, and the ones on the market are often in need of big repairs and renovations. That's they're saying, because far fewer homes have been built since 2008, kind of a broken record. But it says here, you have obsolescence that's starting to accelerate, and those homes either have to be gentrified or raised. So they're saying that the homes that are being listed by baby boomers that have finally decided to sell it really haven't done any improvements to it in the 15 years they've lived in them. And the home buyers really don't want them because now they got to fix them up. And so you may have a number of homes. We may have 17,100 homes up there, but how many of those are going to need some serious upgrading? Carpet, hammers, because I walked into a few of them. You go, oh boy, I don't like that wallpaper. And the home sellers are going, tough. It's my house.
Yeah.
They can leave it. Well, a lot of people are just going to leave it. And so the market is, it's stuck. And, but I say stuck just in that everything is in the volume's not changing at all.
Yeah.
Every week, the number of listings is the same every week. And it always amazes me how in a market this big, you can pull up new contracts and they're always within 100 to 150 homes from the week before.
Well, it kind of goes along with what we've been saying, that this is going to be a year of muddling. Once again, not to, beat a dead horse or the drum like we've talked about, but, a trend is kind of forming here now. Beginning of the year, you always have people that are optimistic or pessimistic, what's going to happen this year. But we're already, we're looking at the second week of April. A trend is starting to form here for the whole year, at least in my book, that we're going to be back and forth with the Fed and yada, yada, yada. It's just, the pull from Seinfeld. But
it's not going to be a brisk summer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not lining up that way now where we're
like you said, though, is that a bad thing, though, either?
No.
I mean,
think so. You're waiting for prices to come down. We're seeing some price cuts, 2,200, but a lot of those price cuts this time of year are out of too much euphoria in the front of the year. But price cuts are still way above what we would consider here to be the average period. Obviously, it was nuts here, but nothing's falling off the charts. You look at active listings; they're still kind of flat. And, I'm not seeing a pop up to these levels up here, which was back in 2022 after when the rates went up, everybody goes, oh, we better hurry up and list because we want to grab this equity. But now we're just boop, flat and level. So it's you have time, like you said, time to think.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush out. Used to be you looked at those new listings on Friday and you were on with your clients going, come on, can you take a break at lunch? Let's go see this.
Yeah.
Oh, your realtors are making a lot of money. We were driving around showing a lot of homes and we were writing a lot of contracts, but there wasn't a whole lot getting accepted.
No. I mean, like a buddy of mine who was a realtor down in a friend of mine, he was like, I stopped showing people homes in Sun City West, because he lived down here in Chandler. And he's like, I just got tired of driving back and forth. And I know that if I went up there, I'm going to get hit with 15 or 20 other offers. He gave up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in a market like that, when it's really brisk, you do tend to get a little geographically picky.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, I want to see something in Surprise. Well, that's an hour from here. You mind if I refer that out? Because you're going to drive up there. You're going to unlock the house. You're going to see 10 people standing in the driveway. You're going to drive back to the office. You're going to write the offer and find out there's already 6 others on the table. Like, no, stop it. And Terrace Chandler says, "Oh my God, I noticed there's hardly any home less than 600,000 in Desert Ridge and Cave Creek." Well, that's a pretty hefty area. So yeah. If I were to go, I don't think I can. This is active listings here. Let's see. Well, let me look up Cave Creek here for a moment. Okay. Well, I got us on here. He said Cave Creek, and what else? Desert Ridge.
Desert Ridge.
That's not going to show up on here.
Yeah.
But let me go to that price range. Everything below 600,000. Now, what do we have? 16. Are there any between, let's get rid of 500, 600,000. How many homes are above 600 to 800K? And this will roll along. We have 39. So there's not a lot available just in that area. Cave Creek's very affluent, very nice. And look at me talking about this chart, and I'm not even showing it to you. There you are, 39. So it's an area that, those days are gone, I'm afraid, up there. Chandler's still leading the pack as far as being a seller's market. There's a lot going on in Chandler, and there's just not a lot of inventory down there to grab. And there's not a lot of room left to build. Frank says, "What's the household salary needed for your average Arizona home now that rates are so high?"
I mean, I would say
it's north of 100, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, actually, believe it or not, I can qualify people, if you got, it's obviously different for everybody, but the biggest thing that I see that hurts people is they got, car payment of $700, $800, $900, $1,000, right? That's the biggest thing that's the biggest wall that I see that people, the hurdle that I see people not being able to buy. 75,000, 70, 75,000, 8,000. You're looking at 80 or 80,000. You can still buy a home. Your payment. If your gross income, because we look at gross income, I'd say 80, 85, 90. A lot of people said, I've seen articles saying that
rent now too.
Huh?
You need that to rent now too, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is that people are used to paying, $23, $24, $2,500, $2,600 for rent. If I quote a payment of say 28 or 2,900 or 3,000, they're like, okay, it's only $300 or $400 more than I'm paying right now. So that's kind of the sticker shock has kind of gone away. But, the main thing is clearing up debt. That's the biggest thing that I see is, people are just going out and buying these $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 cars, and they got $1,000 car payment. That's really the biggest thing that I see that's holding people back. And sometimes student loans, but for the most part, it seems like it's car payment. If you got a husband, wife, wife's making, if she's got a job that's paying 100, the husband's maybe making say 60, 65 or vice versa, whatever it is, you can make it happen.
Work. Yeah.
Huh?
I said, they're making it work. It's amazing. Sometimes I see what people are making out there.
Oh yeah. The biggest thing too is, I mean, the last year and a half with inflation, I'm going to say something very basic, but you got rates that went from 3 to 7. You got a change of payment of $700, $800, $900, $1,000 in payment. But what's really kicking people in the pants is the fact that their grocery bill, they're seeing stuff, the grocery and gas bill. I mean, the average household of 4 or 5 people their bills have probably gone up anywhere from $800, $900 to $1,500, $1,600 a month. You know,
Yeah, I have a friend that lives in San Diego. He said they're paying almost $6 a gallon for gas. He went out to get 6 chicken wings and a Pepsi. He said it was $32.
yeah. I mean, so
it-
you
it-
add in both those. If you had just the average, if you had the increase in rates, but you didn't have the increase in the household expenses, I think people would feel a hell of a lot better. But the problem is you got this double whammy of interest rates going up and inflation. People have felt this pinch at the grocery store more than ever they have in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear people bitching about it all the time now, and it's real. And you know, that definitely factors in. And then on top of it, let's throw another curveball. You got homeowners insurance, you got car insurance. Car insurance has gone up through the roof. So you add in all these little variables that are nipping at everybody's tail, and they're like, I just their overall expense per month has gone up probably on average at least $1,500, $1,600. So that adds into the whole equation. So
yeah, it's every time I go in the store, it's like, now I'm just, no, I don't think I'll buy that this trip.
yeah.
And
So I mean, you've never had that before, and that's the problem with I think the average person looking at buying a home is that these guys are the people I've been working with the last several years. They're smart people. I mean, they're not stupid. They know what's going on. They know their expenses. Very, very few times do I ever get somebody that doesn't know their whole financial picture. So they're very financially much more educated of what's going on.
Yeah, educated and stressed.
Savvy. Huh?
Educated and stressed.
Yeah.
What's going on. Yeah, I know. It's not to be Debbie Downers on this, but that's a reality. There's a lot of expenses out there right now that we can't control at all, especially at the gas pump. We the past 2 weeks, oil's gone up because there's more stress back in the Middle East, and just making things a little tough. I took my RV up to Prescott for a couple days. It was kind of fun, and you're climbing some altitude going up there, and you're pulling this 7,000-pound RV up the hill and watching the gas gauge go like, oh no,
Yeah.
Fill it up to get home. You only use a quarter of a tank. Okay, that's great. But it's tough. I don't know if I'm taking a long trip this summer or not. It's all going to depend on the gas, price of gas. I mean, I canceled a trip a couple of years ago because I said that just added $2,000 to my gas bill going up and back. But Prescott, I'll go up there as much. I love that place. That place is so much fun.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Downtown and all that history and everything there. And it's, going forward, here's where, marry the house, date the rate. Look, maybe, but everybody got on the same bandwagon in January saying the Fed said 4 to 6 rate cuts this year. They didn't. They never said that. But there were a few people who were charting things out on a dot plot that said maybe we can get there. And they said that could happen if we see numbers in our favor. And we said, well, yeah, but here's what has to happen. We have to have inflation come down, but there's too much spending going on. I don't see that happening. So I think we're in that zone now where inflation sitting there a little over 3 is probably going to be where we're sticking and staying and getting to 2. Like you said, getting from 6 to 3 is easy. Getting from 3 to 2 is brutal. And, that 2% number is kind of made up anyway, but it's, but then the producer price index numbers are showing some favorable things. So that, the stuff behind it, the people are making or producing, that inflation is not as high. Well, that's great, but food, shelter, are still high and fuel. So I don't see us between now and July looking at lower rates that are going to say, hey, this is going to be a brisk summer in real estate. And even some of our people that we've had on the channel here have said this is going to be a really busy spring. And I go, I don't think so. But I do see opportunities for people. I mean, this is when we sit here and say that we're not going to see the low rates and stuff like that. I don't at all mean to paint a bleak picture for sellers.
Yeah.
You're priced right. They're selling, folks.
We're not talking a bleak. I don't think you're talking a bleak market about the buyers either, because like you said, it's a stabilized market that people know. They know what they're kind of getting into. And I'll just going to do a shameless plug again. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about that $10,000 grant that is available in Phoenix for people. Once again, I'll do a quick 30-second plug. If you're live in an eligible area, you can buy anywhere. There's this one lender that I have that will offer up to $11,000 in closing costs, down payment. It's $10,000 for that, and then $500 for home warranty and $500 for appraisal. So if you got great credit, it's a home ready first. If people have any interest, if you know of a first-time home buyer that lives in the west side of Phoenix, central Phoenix, Sun City, parts of the map is kind of weird. But if anybody knows any, was watching this or is potentially looking to buy, send me their address or send me an email. I can send you I can throw in the link and see if they're eligible, and I can say yes, they're eligible. It just depends where you live. So, but it's a great program because there's no add-on for fees. You can get actually a lower rate with this program. It's a conventional home ready first program. But send me the information. I'd be more than happy to look up the address to see if people are eligible or not.
Yeah, it sounds like a great program. 10 grand's a lot of flipping money. Now the average,
that's the thing too.
Sellers, the average seller contribution now is $9,100.
Well, that's the thing. This, for anybody that's selling a house, if they're, if you're a seller of the house, I can flip the story around on this program and say, if you're a seller, tell your prospective buyers to see if they're eligible for this. You can flip that around and say, hey, that way a seller doesn't have to maybe give up 10 grand in seller concessions for closing costs. Might help the seller.
Now we've got the results of all those class action lawsuits that are still dripping in on real estate, going after everybody, going after Redfin now. And then the Department of Justice is coming after real estate all over commissions. It's going to be a confusing summer.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a lot of information. It's all spread by the news. They just grab one headline and run with it, kind of like 6 rate cuts. And we're going to have that weighing down on us. The misunderstanding of it all. Sellers now can say, when a realtor goes in and says, I charge X percent to list your house, that is a total percentage that we split with the other broker so that we can pay the buyer's agent as well. And people are just really ticked off about that, but it's always been that way. That doesn't mean it's always right, but it's been a very good and smooth system. And now they keep throwing up, well, you need to be like Europe. Well, what's so great about Europe? It takes almost 6 months to buy a house out there. And so, So the confusion is rampant, but you still have options. And that's why you'll see in the link below, I've got, Rick Helps Consulting. If you want to talk about, what your options are as far as buying a home, do you need an agent? If you don't want to use an agent, how do you do it? Selling, do you have to offer a buyer broker commission? You've been required to offer that, but you could offer as little as $1. And there is no such thing as a law on setting commissions. And that's what's making these lawsuits just make us shake our heads. Like, where do they get this? And all this is right now are just, nobody's asking how much the lawyers are getting.
Yeah.
What their rates are. There's no negotiation. They're just going out and getting millions and millions of dollars. Out of that $418 million that is the settlement for the National Association of Realtors, I think the amount that people are getting in that class action lawsuit is less than $100. Now, I'm going to guess that the attorneys got more than $100 on that. So
yeah,
just laying that out there. And the only reason I bring it up, that's the summer we're looking at, Pat.
Yeah.
We don't know. And I just want to lay out the questions. Here's your options. Here's what you can do. Here's what you need to watch out for.
I saw, I don't know if did you see this now that Joe Biden mentioned, our illustrious President Joe Biden, he mentioned about they're going after title companies, lender title insurance.
Yeah. They want to get rid of title insurance.
Yeah.
Save the consumers like $1,500 on each end. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, title insurance is out there so that in case there's a encumbrance on your title or there's a lien or anything, you're insured, but you're digging up and looking up the title history anyway. So why do we have to buy $1,500 worth of insurance? So I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's just one more thing that they're adding to the mix. So are all these title companies going to go belly up and then you just use escrow? And title companies look at your title, they look at the history, they draw up the new title, and they insure it. Escrow companies just prepare all the paperwork so that you can close. In Arizona, title and escrow are in the same unit.
Yeah.
Like Fidelity. In Washington State, there are two. You'll have a title company and then an escrow company. Separate things that I learned when we sold my dad's place. But yeah, Pat, I mean, they're going to pull the trigger on that one too.
Yeah. It's just, once again, we're from the government and we're here to help. You know, it's just
unintended consequences. That's
yeah. I mean, don't get me started.
yeah, the commission thing just makes me shake my head. And look, consumers, like just negotiate with your agent, whatever commission you want to pay, let them know. I'll list your house for 5%. No, I'd rather have you do it for 4%. They'll probably go, okay. I'll do it for 3%. I'll do it for $9.99, which the 72 sold people are pushing that now. You don't hear 72 sold anymore. Hello, Danila. There's a trick that somebody told me that they're doing out there too, where after 15 days, they pull the house off the market. They're expired. And there's one brokerage out there that keeps doing that. I was like, why do they do that? Well, it helps their numbers somehow. And so there's some real shenanigans that are going on there in some of these brokerages. So we're just going to continue to watch.
That's one thing I hate. One thing that drives me nuts is just playing games with people's biggest financial investment.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I pride myself on trying to tell people exactly what I know, not to make up any crap. Do I know all the answers? No, but I think you and I pride ourselves on trying to give people the right answer versus trying to have some motive or.
Yeah, it can come back to bite you for sure. Hi, YouTube. Hey,
YouTube.
I got to cut it short here, Pat.
Yep.
I got to take my buddy to the airport, and he's going to try. I'm going to do a drop and roll.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got a convertible now, so he's been practicing jumping out of it, but he hasn't practiced actually hanging onto his luggage. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to bring a helmet, and we'll see how he does when I go through Terminal 4. So
yeah,
thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.
All right, talk to you.
See you, brother.